Sky Sanctuary is a collection of VR minigames that are related to using your sword or bow and arrow skills, along with some other minigames. It just released out of early access July 31st, 2020. It was in development since 2017. Is it worth buying? Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to do a review for Sky Sanctuary VR. It was released by developer Glitcher Studio. It's available for the Valve Index, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and Windows Mixed Reality. It normally retails for $8.99. I got a free Steam key through the Steam Curator Connect program to review this game. This game is running on the Unity engine, and although it was running fine most of the time, it did have severe frame rate drops, which did affect gameplay. I did change the settings. I lowered the graphical options to low on just about everything. I took off shadows. I reduced anti-aliasing. No matter what I did, though, I would still have those frame rate drops, which is weird because it would run at 90 frames per second. But during gameplay, even for this whack-a-mole type mini-game, I would get frame rate drops and it would affect the gameplay for me, which is not a good thing for this type of game because it really does affect the final result, which can be a little frustrating. Now, there's only teleportation available. There is no full locomotion. You do have snap turning as an option as well, but there is no smooth turning. Again, I think it's pretty bad for a game to only have teleportation as an option. I would have preferred full locomotion and smooth turning. Unfortunately, I can only teleport and I had to use snap turning, which is fine, but it really does bring down the experience. There is a collection of minigames, and one of those collections is related to using your katana, so you're going to be slicing and dicing. So you have 3 sword minigames. One of them is called Precision, and that's where you cut a piece of bamboo in the right direction. You have to be very precise with that. Another one is called Speed, where you're just trying to cut as many balls as possible without cutting the wrong item. Then you have this, which is called Dodge and Slice, where you have to cut the right colored ball with the right colored sword. One of the swords is short, another one's long, and you have to dodge the other items. I really did not like this Dodge and Slice minigame. You also have a collection of minigames related to the use of the bow and arrow. One of those minigames involves like a memory challenge where you're supposed to just remember each of the icons that are listed and shoot them accordingly to match the icons. Another one is like a skeet competition where they launch chickens out of cannons and you're supposed to shoot the flying chickens from the cannon. Another one is just targets that move around and you're trying to get the highest score possible. Then you do the triathlon, which is just all of them together, and if you do well in that competition, you unlock one of the mini games that's at the temple. Same thing with these sword competitions. The sword ones are a little bit different. You have to do well in each one of them. There's like a training level, then there's like a competition level, and once you get to the competition level, if you get a high score, you unlock a mini game that you're able to play at the temple. That includes what you saw earlier, the whack-a-mole. There's also like a disc throwing where you throw disc on the poles. Another one is, and you'll see this later in the video, where you throw shuriken or shooting stars at targets. Some of them can be pretty small, so it's a pretty tough throwing competition. And lastly, I believe you have something called taiko rhythm, something like that. Basically, it's a drum rhythm minigame. I have not been able to unlock that one because you have to do really well in the dodge and slice sword minigame, which I found very difficult even in the training level. And I was looking at the leaderboards for that, and very few people did well. Most people actually had lower score than I was able to get in that minigame. So it seems like a lot of people have been unable to unlock that one. And in fact, I looked at several of the achievements that I got for this game, and one of them only had 0.5% of people who got that achievement. So for some of these minigames, people have not been doing very well. So they're probably not tuned correctly to the difficulty, especially that dodge and slice, where just on the training level itself, several people have not been able to unlock the competitive mode for that. So if you're not even able to get to competitive mode, you're not even able to try to unlock one of the mini games, which I don't think is a very smart design for this game. Now, the mini games, they can be fun, and I'll say that I had fun with some of the mini games, but for some of the other mini games, I really did not like them, especially that dodge and slice one. I thought it was a very poor version of Fruit Ninja. It was just like a really bad clone of Fruit Ninja. Wasn't a lot of fun. I gotta say, I wasn't really a fan of the slicing ones. Probably the only one that I liked at all from those was the precision cutting, and that was where you cut the pole and you have to cut in certain directions, you have to be precise. That's really the only one of the slicing ones using the katana that I liked. As far as the bow and arrow, I did enjoy it. I thought using the bow and arrow was fun. The bow and arrow felt good to use, but I did think the minigame went on for a little bit too long, especially for the memory one and also for the target one. They were just a little bit too long, especially when you combine it with the triathlon, which it combines all of them together and it can feel like a marathon almost. In fact, when I looked at the achievements, I was one of the few people who was able to unlock the minigame based on getting a good score on the triathlon. So obviously that would need to be fine-tuned in my opinion, because very few people are actually unlocking that minigame. And I would see something like maybe this minigame collection is maybe geared for kids, but if it's too difficult, then probably you're missing out on your target audience, and there isn't enough depth or enough content here really to appeal to maybe older veteran VR players like myself, where there's nothing here that I would say is excellent. Just some of the mini games are okay, maybe okay to a little bit better than average, but several of the mini games I found to be below average. However, the price is pretty low at only $9, and I could see some people having fun with this mini game collection. I just think it would need more mini games, and I just don't know who the target audience for this was. It seems like it's too challenging for younger children, which is what I would think this mini game collection would appeal to. And for like older VR veterans, there's just not enough here to appeal to us long term. After about 2 hours of playing this game, I kind of don't want to play it anymore. So if I have to rate this game at this time, I would give it a 5 out of 10. There's enough here that I think it would appeal to some people, but I think there's just way better minigame collections in VR, and this collection is just mediocre at best. So for me, this is a buy on deep sale recommendation only if you just can't get enough of minigame collections in VR. If you liked my video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.